Have you guys seen the Formula One 2019, what do they call it? YouTube Rewind, kind of? You know what I'm on about. I mean, God, doesn't it seem like so long ago, the Formula One season? Blimey. Anyway, if you're missing Formula One, of course, you know the drill by now. Daily Formula One videos in the run-up to Christmas, just to quench your thirst of Formula One just a little bit. Day 7, Kevin Magnussen is today's topic of conversation. I think it's a good way. That's just how it feels. The year for both Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen. The Haas team, in general, so much promise in that first race of the season. Locked out the third row of the grid. Okay, Grosjean didn't score any points thanks to the tyres popping off, but at least this year, K-Mag got to the flag. They got one car through a pit stop for the race, so there was a positive for you. But after that, what a crazy season for both drivers. And it's been such an awful season for both of them. 16th for K-Mag, 18th for Grosjean. It's hard to not talk about them both because for both of them, the car was an absolute dog. Looking at Kevin's statistics, he only scored 3 more times in 2019. After that first race of the season, he's only scored once since the summer break. That car has been brilliant, I think it's fair enough to say, in qualifying on a Saturday, but on a Sunday in race trim, it's been so bad, so bad, and that's still an understatement. It has been awful. They abandoned development so long ago, and I think races, we'll have a look in a moment at Kevin's statistics, but when you look at races like Austria, that whole weekend for me is just perfectly sums up the season for Haas. 5th in qualifying for Kevin Magnussen. Okay, he had a penalty and he started a little bit further back, but 5th. That car had the pace to be the 5th quickest car that weekend. And yet in the Grand Prix, he started a little bit further back thanks to a grid penalty, but spent the entirety of the race with the Williams boys at the back of the field. And we know how far Williams are away in qualifying. And such was the story across the entirety of 2019. So it's so difficult to analyse both Grosjean and Magnussen because we can only really do it on their Saturday pace, which even that, going to different circuits, was just all over the place. They're both staying in Formula One next year, the two Haas boys, and they will both be praying their car is a little bit better than this year's. The head-to-head statistics are on screen now, but what I will say, they're a little bit misleading, I think so fair enough to say. Face value, quali battle is 13-8 to Kevin Magnussen. Race battle is 12-8 Kevin Magnussen. Both of them didn't finish in Silverstone. Points battle is 28, and that's both their race numbers, which is pretty cool. And championship position, 16th for K-Mag, 18th for Grosjean. But that race head-to-head, actually, in races where they've both finished, it's Grosjean who has the edge, 7-5. So it's been an all-over-the-place season. Kevin's statistics, I mean, pretty straightforward. Qualifying best P5 and race best P6, which was all the way back in the very first race of the season, which seems so long ago. The other 3 points finishes Kevin was able to pick up over the season was a 7th place in Spain, where that was actually Grosjean's first points of the season. But even that race, Grosjean had the edge for the majority of the race. But there's contact between the two of them. There was contact between the two of them again in Germany, where both of them scored. Kevin got a P8. And the only other points finish for Magnussen in 2019 was a few races ago now, back in Russia, with a P9. So the bulk of his points came in that very first race of the season. And I think at the summer break when we were discussing Magnussen, we were talking about how in Spain, in Silverstone, in Germany, the two teammates were seeming to find each other on the track, but definitely in the second half of the year, both cleaned their acts up, I think, quite considerably when racing each other. And I think what I'd like to say about Kevin in 2019, because when I was talking about him last year, I don't think I was necessarily harsh, but a lot of his moves when it was wheel-to-wheel battles, in practice as well, we saw it in Azerbaijan. I think it's the only instance I can think of in 2019 where Magnussen, in practice, blocked Pierre Gasly, almost sent him into the wall in Baku, which was very dangerous. But he's done that all of his career, and I think definitely a lot of the issues I had with Magnussen before this season, he's definitely addressed. And whilst he hasn't been able to really prove his raw speed and talent, I definitely think of my personal opinion of him has changed quite a bit, and in a positive light over 2019. There's no denying that the car was bad, but I think we've seen with willingness from both Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen to both resort back to older spec cars, which must be frustrating for them. I've really got to hand out a lot of respect to both of these boys for dealing in the manner they have in 2019 and the positive they've tried to bring out. Of course, there was a couple of crashes for Magnussen over the course of the season, qualifying in Canada, qualifying in Japan, but apart from that, it's been a very straightforward year. But in terms of scoring, I can only really... I'll give him a 6. I was going to give him a 5, but there has been flashes like that P5, even like that P9 in Russia, where you think, you know what, if only that car was a bit better, if that makes sense. And I think that Grosjean's definitely been underrated this season, but I think 6 is a nice place to put Kevin Magnussen. But of course, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Daily videos every single day. That's what daily means, Dan. You know what I'm on about. So if you're new around here, feel free to subscribe. I'm not actually here at the moment, so apologies if I don't respond as quick as normal, but I will try my very best. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.